Today we will learn the second part, the causes and conditions for generating bodhicitta. The body-mind is the king of all virtues. There must be causes and conditions that give rise to it. Bodhicitta is the supreme of all virtuous minds. Among worldly and supramundane virtues, nothing is more precious than bodhicitta. Bodhicitta surpasses all virtues, whether mundane or supramundane. The virtues of the human and heavenly realms include the 5 Precepts, virtue of the human realm, the 10 Wholesome Deeds, virtue of the desire realm heavens, and the 4 Dhyanas and 8 Samadhis, virtue of the higher celestial realms. These meditative absorptions correspond to the 4 Dhyana Heavens and the 4 Formless Heavens. Beings in these realms engage in wholesome activities and refrain from unwholesome acts. Renunciation and the realization of non-self are the virtues of Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas. Bodhicitta is the virtue of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Among all these virtues, the greatest is bodhicitta because its duration is infinite, lasting till the end of the future. Its object is limitless, encompassing all sentient beings. Its aspiration is supreme, wishing to attain a perfect Buddhahood and bring both temporary and ultimate happiness to all sentient beings. In every respect, bodhicitta reaches the highest level, far surpassing the virtues of humans, devas, and shravakas. Furthermore, consider the results. The defiled virtues of the human and heavenly realms cannot free one from the cycle of discontinuous birth and death. The undefiled virtues of Shravakas can liberate one from discontinuous birth and death, but not from transformative birth and death. Discontinuous birth and death refers to the cycle of rebirth in samsara. Arhats have transcended the cycle of rebirth, but they are still subject to transformative birth and death. What does this mean? It means their minds still arise and cease with attachment to phenomena and cognitive obscurations. Only bodhicitta can eliminate both forms of birth and death, leading to complete liberation and perfect enlightenment. Through this comparison in scope and effect, we can see that bodhicitta is the king of all virtues. It is the most sublime. In the Mahayana tradition, all bodhisattva practices, vast as the ocean, are carried out with bodhicitta. From this perspective of encompassing all virtues, it deserves the title King of all virtues. Since bodhicitta is the king of all virtues, surpassing the wholesome activities of humans, devas, shravakas, and pratyeka Buddhas, there must be special causes and conditions that give rise to it, the ground from which it grows. The following are the 10 causes and conditions for generating bodhicitta. There are 10 causes and conditions that help us generate the body-mind. What are they? Reflect on the immense kindness of the Buddha. Reflect on the kindness of our parents. Reflect on the kindness of our teachers. Reflect on the kindness of our benefactors. Reflect on the kindness of all sentient beings. reflect on the suffering of samsara, respect our own spiritual being, repent for karmic obstacles, aspire for rebirth in the Pure Land, reflect on the importance of preserving the Dharma for a long time. There are 10 causes and conditions for generating bodhicitta. The first 5 are about gratitude, gratitude to the Buddha, parents, teachers, benefactors, and sentient beings. This is why I often emphasize the importance of gratitude. We should remember and repay the kindness of others, not imagined kindness, but genuine. Throughout countless kalpas, sentient beings have helped us, and the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have shown us immense kindness. Here, we are speaking of conventional bodhicitta, as we don't have profound wisdom of emptiness yet. Conventional bodhicitta is also called similar bodhicitta, contrived and imitative. This bodhicitta is a conditioned phenomenon that arises from causes and conditions. If it were not born from causes and conditions, it would emerge without cause. If it were causeless, all sentient beings would inherently possess bodhicitta without needing to cultivate it. Yet, in reality, countless beings lack this mind. Without guidance, bodhicitta cannot arise. The arising of conventional bodhicitta requires causes and conditions. When these factors come together, bodhicitta can arise. Otherwise, mere wishful thinking cannot produce it. Many people simply think, I want to generate bodhicitta, but lack the necessary causes and conditions. They don't cultivate it based on the causes and conditions. Instead, they just recite, I wish to generate bodhicitta, or assume they have already done so. These are just daydreams. We should accumulate the causes and conditions. When these factors reach a certain point, the seed of bodhicitta will gradually take root, sprout, and grow. As we know, contemplation can transform the mind directly. It means applying the correct mental mode. For example, reflecting on impurity or suffering gives rise to renunciation. The more frequently and effectively one contemplates, the stronger the renunciation becomes. Eventually, renunciation arises firmly without interruption. However, if one reflects on the pleasantness or happiness of the object, renunciation will not arise. Instead, attachment will arise. In short, the way we think shapes our state of mind. Hence, to generate bodhicitta, we should first examine what kind of contemplation can inspire bodhicitta. By identifying the right causes and conditions and finding the path, our practice becomes effective. Initially, we should recollect others' kindness, which is a correct mental mode. This is not baseless or imagined, but a proper and objective reflection. For example, when reflecting on the kindness of our parents, we notice a change in our minds. As we contemplate, a sense of gratitude and the wish to repay their kindness naturally arise. Through repeated meditation in this way, a stable mind of gratitude develops. Next, we reflect, how can I repay my parents' kindness? After a thorough examination, the answer becomes clear. Only by generating bodhicitta, liberating them from samsara and leading them to the bliss of Buddhahood, can we repay their kindness. This contemplation brings about a transformation in understanding. Hence, we vow to benefit our parents through countless lifetimes. Since we recognize the need to transcend samsara and attain Buddhahood, we certainly wish the same for our parents. By contemplating these 10 aspects in this way, one naturally activates the roots of virtue in the mental continuum. We inherently possess roots of virtue. Even if we haven't practiced bodhicitta before, we should have cultivated gratitude. If one doesn't even have this root of virtue, it is hard to cultivate bodhicitta. In that case, one should first practice the human and heavenly vehicle, the 5 Precepts and 10 Wholesome Deeds, to learn how to be free from suffering and attain happiness. Without roots of virtue, it is hard to develop bodhicitta. One must possess some roots of virtue to awaken those latent in their mental continuum, giving rise to a wholesome aspiration. Then, by guiding the mind properly, step by step, the aspiration to attain Buddhahood and liberate beings can arise. There is a pattern to follow. Since there is a pattern, we should practice according to its steps. Our mind is like a child. If we guide it with the correct mental pattern, it will become more and more sensible. Eventually, even without deliberate effort, it will spontaneously generate bodhicitta. We should apply the correct mental mode. On the other hand, if one merely recites the prayers without mental engagement, it is superficial bodhicitta. Such cases are common in this degenerate age. People may recite bodhicitta prayers, but their minds remain unmoved, failing to recollect others' kindness. Hence, for now, don't just recite the prayers. First, listen to the teachings, and then meditate after gaining understanding. During meditation, reflect on your parents' kindness. See whether you can recall it. If you cannot, it indicates that you are just reciting the prayers without mental engagement. It is essential to engage in meditation. During meditation, reflect on the kindness of parents, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, teachers, etc. Contemplate on each source of gratitude one by one. How should we recollect others' kindness? We should awaken it through causes and conditions, by reflecting on how they have benefited us, just as we reflect on our parents. We can recall how our parents raised us when we were young. From what we don't remember, we can observe our own children or those around us. From the moment of birth, our parents fed us milk day by day and raised us little by little. All parents nurture their children in this way. Some people begin to appreciate their parents' kindness after having their own children, and only then do they start to repay it. Therefore, we should awaken our gratitude through causes and conditions. Without genuine content, without real facts to contemplate and inspire bodhicitta, recitation becomes mechanical, without mental engagement. When contemplating these 10 aspects, as long as the method is correct and we practice properly and sufficiently, no matter which aspect we begin with, it can inspire bodhicitta. These are the right causes and conditions without error. Our practice should be not only proper but also sufficient. Sufficient means practicing repeatedly. Once we find the right causes for generating bodhicitta and train our minds accordingly, bodhicitta will certainly arise. In the past, we did not accumulate these causes and conditions, nor did we earnestly reflect on these profound and vast teachings. As a result, we failed to elevate our minds to the supremely virtuous bodhicitta. Now, we should actively cultivate the various causes and conditions that give rise to bodhicitta. These are the most important and meaningful factors. We should regard them as rare and precious and actively immerse our minds in this big refining furnace to forge bodhicitta as pure as gold. Now, we will begin to guide the meditation on each aspect.